This podcast is sponsored by Relevant, a location-based mobile network personalized by your interests. Customize your news feed to consolidate all the information you care about all in one place to quickly and easily find what's relevant to you. Find out what's going on in your local area and reach your community from the palm of your hand. Relevant is available on iOS and coming soon to Android. Be the first to know with Relevant.
What's up, everybody? It's the Fully Edited Podcast.
Is that how you're starting the show, Patrick?
I didn't think about it. I turned up the volume thing when I had to talk.
Did you just get nervous?
A little bit.
Patrick's like, oh, this is my first time.
I'm still nervous.
It's kind of the first time.
It is. We're actually in a completely different... We've liked to jump around locations recently, and this time we've teleported to a new location, which is actually the Lab 212 at El Tri-C, where everything... This is where it all started. And this is what Lab 212 is named after, and now we're here doing a show in that room, which I didn't think would ever happen because
this is as full circle as one can actually go.
Yeah, it's pretty much the limit.
So we're done. Like I can find.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Welcome to our last show, by the way, guys. We have well, for some reason, we have a live studio audience. But
We got Chris from the Review Dudes over there too.
dudes and Christian, who
We just
is of unknown origin. He's wearing a suit though, and he's looking good. But on the actual show, we have
the actual show.
our very good friends Run from the Radio. Well, at least 2/5 of Run from the Radio.
Is there a five?
Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Brady from the radio.
Nailed it.
I'm Brady. I'm on the radio.
Brady, what band are you from?
Unimportant.
Wait, you came up with a name for this band, didn't you?
I did.
Did you actually?
So you've actually known those words the longest.
And they don't become any easier for me to say.
And who else do we have?
Hi, I'm Mitchell from Jump,
All right. Thanks for coming on.
and we're Run from the Radio.
So yeah, the WXLV is still under renovations, and so
And now so is Josh's house.
And now so is Josh's place. So now we're here. We're in Lab 212. This is where WXLV has set up shop temporarily until the renovations are done. And yeah, so it's interesting. We're going to make it work, and we're all very intimately crowded around these mics, and this is where we're going to be for the next hour.
Kind of feels like the first show again.
It does, a little bit. The first show we filmed at WXLV, we filmed in another studio room, which is way smaller than the one we usually do, and it was very cramped. And actually, Zach had to sit. You actually stood behind the desks
Right.
during the show, and you were like in the corner because that was the only room for you to go, because everyone else was just packed in that room.
Yeah.
That was when we had Josh on, and now he's gone too.
Yeah.
He quit.
Yeah.
He quit the show.
He's also being renovated.
Yeah, Josh is being renovated right now. So
We're
Josh 2.0.
we actually got
Bionic
Lizzy on the
upgrades.
camera this time, so it's things are getting heated.
Or you turn it around and take a selfie.
That was good. So yeah, we've had a pretty exciting week, and I've seen a lot of you guys this week.
Yeah.
Very recently. I was actually we were just together yesterday, and we went out for breakfast
Oh yes, we were.
because we were decompressing from a little soiree we had.
A little shindig.
A little bash at
get together.
our social media person, Amras Farrow's house. We had a little concert that we threw, and we had a lot of people there. Actually, Chris from the Review Dudes was there as well. And Run from the Radio was kind enough to perform for everybody. We also had Airspace perform, and Crazy Eights and Key Mantis. And you had another project that you also did with Chris from Airspace. It was a really good time.
It was.
And you guys killed it.
Thank you.
Even though Tyler was drumming on a chair.
No, that's a legitimate instrument.
I know.
It sounded good.
Let's talk about the cajon for a second. It's a very scientific principle. Now you take the box and you hollow it out to allow some reverberation space, and then you put the little snare strips on it. And then you hit the snare strips and they make a snare noise, and you hit the box and it makes a bass noise, and you see it's very sophisticated. Are you guys ready to move on to the next segment?
That
Did
was
I kill enough time? It's
Can you
just
just
a
do that
chair.
for the
I'd
rest
like
of the
to
hour?
advertise the
It's
chair.
just a chair.
Yeah.
You can sit on it. That's it.
Just a fancy chair.
I'm actually sponsored by LP Cajones, so I had to run that little advert.
We had to run from the radio.
So this,
they're facing their fears right now because
think-
we're on the radio.
Yeah.
They usually run. They spend most of their time running from
Right.
it.
This is very difficult, but we did need a break from all the running. We thought the best way to take
And that's
it.
finally caught up to you.
But yes.
And
the
we're
radio-
actually going to hear a little bit of your newest single that just came out pretty soon. So then Run from the Radio will be on the radio even more because one of your songs will be on. It's not going to be good. You guys have done a very poor job running from the radio.
I think if anybody hears it, they just have to start running. I think that's what it means.
Because it's that bad.
so it's like
You
a
need to-
good
yeah,
it's a
it's
good
that bad.
song to jog to.
You need to play this song at every track meet.
Do you know what else? You know what other radio station that's gonna be played on?
What?
The slightly less prestigious NPR. Because
Then WXLV.
then WXLV is slightly less prestigious,
Yes.
but Desperate Times will be on National Public Radio, along with us talking for some reason.
That's in 2 weeks probably because we film a Tape Swap. Tape Swap Radio in Bethlehem asked us to do an interview with them, so we
Who knows
shot that
why?
last week. Yeah, I have no idea why. So we talked about Lab 212 stuff, and Chris Kennedy from Run from the Radio also is going to be on that episode, and that's coming out in 2 weeks. So that's exciting, and you guys are on there too. But yeah, and then this is a pretty monumental episode, I would say. This is kind of a turning point this season. This is kind of the end of this season because this is the last show I'm ever going to film.
It's the last time you'll be in Pennsylvania for the rest of your life.
Right. Because I'm moving far away. I'm moving to Florida. But I'm only going to be gone for 4 months, and then I'll be back. And
only
then,
4 months.
Yeah.
Forever.
And I'm going to still be doing the show remotely
Mm-hmm.
from Orlando, where I'll be. Because I'll be working at Disney temporarily, which is scary. But
It'll
it'll be...
rhyme more.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a rhyme. That was just fear.
Disney temporarily scary. All right.
Keep going.
No, I can't do. That's the only 3
You've
words
got to
I
piece it together. It's a very
Yeah.
cryptic message from
Right.
Chandler.
So I'm probably gonna be a robot on the show for the next. I want to get maybe we can get like a mannequin or a dummy with my face on it, like just like a cutout of my face.
When
and
I was a
can
child,
sit here.
I used to have a large stuffed animal of Winnie the Pooh.
Do you still have it?
I
we
don't
borrow
know,
that
but
for
if
4
But
months?
if we do, yes.
Approximately 4 months.
With or without the option to put your face on it, because it just depends on what you're feeling. You know, some days you feel like Pooh,
It's true.
and other days
Winnie
you feel like Chandler. So
There's not much of a difference.
You do eat honey a lot. It's kind of gross.
You know, eating honey. You know what? You know, honey never spoils.
I have heard
Wow,
that.
thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah, dude.
That's great.
You gotta stock up now before it's all gone, because all the bees are gonna die.
Well, that got sad.
I'm
Take it
gonna go
away,
from
Pat.
there. Bees
How are your guys? How did you guys enjoy the show?
the shindig?
That was a very fun shindig. It was a very fun show.
You guys are. I think you guys are used to maybe a higher caliber of house show, though.
well, you know, Chandler, as a matter of fact, as it turns out, bees aren't actually native to North America, and they're an invasive species that must be destroyed. But more on the house show.
Wait, are you leading the extinction of bees in North America?
I didn't say that.
Mitchell's pro bee extinction.
Are you allowed to do that?
Is that even a stance that you can have?
I don't know. Am I allowed to say these things on the air?
I don't know.
It's my
You don't
first time,
need
guys.
flowers.
Kind of nervous. So anyway, a house show. I mean, I wouldn't say so. I think it was a very intimate venue, as in it was very small. But we have played smaller, so we're used to intimacy. Take
I'm
that
not.
as you would. yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys played at Coffee House Without Limits, right?
Yeah.
Which is somehow smaller than Amherst's basement.
It's very, very
Hey,
small.
no shots at
No, of
Coffee
course
House
not.
Without Limits, though. They are great.
They are.
They're really
It's
cool out
fantastic.
there.
They have really good vibes in that place, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Zach was there.
I was.
Shout out to our boy Zach. Taking some bomb photos, which you might see some of, I guess.
I
later
only
on.
took video.
Oh, you did?
Well, you know,
Who took
video
the
is a lot of
photos?
photos, so.
Somebody took the
It was a
you're
ghost.
At Coffee House?
coffee house.
Yeah, I've seen him.
That wasn't me, man. I honestly don't know.
Sam, perhaps.
I guess
It
so.
actually probably was Sam.
Probably was Sam.
And you guys have also played Live at 13, which has been, I think we've managed to bring that up every single show since since we went to Live at 13 last month, because we had
was
every
that
single
only a
band
month
that
ago?
performed. Yeah, that was in July, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
The July
It was
one.
the July
There
one.
was only one. The one in July.
What is happening with my life, dude?
But you guys are the final band actually that went on that night, other than Bobby
closed.
Mahoney, I think.
Wait, you
We didn't
closed,
get-
right? Or did
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah,
Mahoney
we
go? Okay.
closed.
We did close that night.
I mean the last ones we needed to have on the show before we got the
Oh, right.
entire set
Did
list.
you get
yeah.
everybody all the bands on the show in order except for
No.
Bobby
No,
Mahoney?
No. It was really out of order.
Yeah, it was really out of order. Bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris from Review Dudes. Go
is
check out the
amazing.
Review Dudes on
check out the
youtube.com/Review Dudes. I don't know if that's is that your URL? Do you have a URL yet? For YouTube. All right.
Then make sure you check out their episode of the podcast too, which is episode 30. I don't know, but it's really good. It's really funny.
It's
But
30
that's
something.
just a theory.
Okay. All right, so
No.
I think that Live at 13 is a really great venue, and unfortunately, Chris Kennedy can be here today to talk about it. But we're gonna probably have him on at a later date. But we
Yeah,
do.
he's dead.
Yeah. he's actually with Josh.
He's being revamped.
But yeah, and so Live at 13 is kind of like the breeding ground for Run From the Radio, right? I mean, that's
It's our home base.
That is
Yeah.
where we breed, yes.
yeah. And so what has it been like, kind of? Because Brady, you've been with the band since it started.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't really even know the origins of how it started exactly. I know a little bit more about the recent history, like Mitchell coming on board and things like that. But I have no idea how Run From the Radio
Can you
all
give us
started.
some lore? Can
Yeah.
you give us like
Can we dive into that?
the books they used to sell with game, like the strategy guides? Can you give us
Yeah.
the strategy guide and Run From the Radio?
I don't actually have the strategy guide, so I'd very much appreciate this.
Yes, I can. So it started a couple years ago. Chris, Tyler, our drummer, Chris the guitarist, and I went to a house show in a basement, and it was one of the coolest experiences of our lives. And we were like, hey guys, let's start a band. And that's what we did. So we spent a lot of time trying to learn new songs that like to cover, and then we started to try to write our own music. And we had a couple members who joined and left throughout. Like, it was usually lead guitarists.
Honorable mention of Jeff from Eastern Fault.
Yes.
Who we also had on a while
Yeah.
ago.
He was at one time our lead guitarist, and I was the original front man, or in air quotes, I was the vocalist as well as the bassist.
Why are there no frontman bassists, Brady?
Um,
And why did you contribute to that problem by becoming
They're out
not
there.
the
You're talking
frontman?
to one right now. Brady's still the front man deep down. This is the face that you look at and think that's
That's
Run
true.
From the Radio. Beautiful face.
anyway, I kind of lost track of the lore.
I don't remember where you were either.
Well, we spent a lot of time writing our own songs and trying to perfect them, and also trying to get as many shows as we could. And just recently, we picked up two of our friends, Mitch Kresge and James Ritchie.
I hate that guy.
And
Yo, me too.
two very fantastic fellas. And James became our new lead guitarist, Mitch became the new vocalist, and I was demoted to only the bassist.
How did that feel?
It felt good.
Objection, Your Honor? You still do vocals, though.
I do a little bit of vocals.
You are still a vocalist, and James
Technically.
technically is as well, and Tyler technically is also. When
We're
we
all
have a third
vocalists
mic.
here.
Chris is very adamant about not being a vocalist, but everybody here at Run From the Radio, we like to equally represent all of our members,
It's
which is
part of-
why I'm delivering this speech and I cut off Brady.
Right.
Sorry, Brady.
Yes.
it's really the mystique that adds to Chris Kennedy as a person. It's like, what's his voice sound like? You'll never know.
Doesn't have
You'll
one.
just hear him play power chords.
What's the other side of his hair look like?
That's a
when
good
he
point. I
grows
don't know.
out?
What's under his
I've
hair?
never seen it.
No one's ever.
A lot of
seen it.
mystery with him. I've never heard his real voice.
Which side does his hair part on? Do you know?
Nope.
And you've known him for how
Save
long?
it for the
I've
trivia.
known him for over 10 years.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
This came up before.
What was?
That's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
there's a
hangs over
There's
to
a
his
ghost
left
in
is
here
what
or
I've seen.
something. When did that come up before? That we were trying to figure out which side. I was with Food Truck. We were trying to figure out which side Chris's hair parted on, and we didn't know.
Did Food Truck not know either?
No.
No.
Well, this just didn't Run From the Radio. Still doesn't know. So
That's how you know it goes really deep.
Yeah, that's how you know the deep lore. He does. I don't even think he has like a left side of his head.
It doesn't grow at all.
To be
He
honest.
doesn't even cut it like
There's
that.
just nothing there. It's a void.
So you brought on Mitchell, and then you're just doing bass now. But you guys did a lot of originals early on too. And did you guys have any prior music experience or like formal training before you just went, I want to start a band? Or was it just stumbling, figuring that stuff out as you went just because that was something you wanted to do?
Well, it started out, I had just started playing bass. I found my dad's old bass in the basement.
That makes
yeah.
sense.
Where it belongs.
and I just picked it up, started playing, because my dad is a musician, my older brother's a musician, so I just felt like in the family I should do it. And I enjoyed it a lot. And then Chris, I believe, also started learning guitar around the same time I did, but neither of us were like devoted to it.
Devout Christians.
Neither of us were devout musicians. But
Well,
when
you write all the songs, right?
at that time, yes, I did
Okay.
write all the
More or
songs.
less. Still.
Okay.
Really?
I find that interesting because I think you're a very good songwriter. So for you to just like sort of waltz into it is kind of impressive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I'm very much self-taught. I just do what I think sounds good, and that's kind of my way of writing.
No, I think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And then I did in high school take music theory classes just to expand my knowledge and try to learn new things about writing. But yes.
Heard it here first.
Yes.
Pretty
It's
hard.
always-
Yes.
Writing songs is always weird because it feels like that's one of the things that musicians are really like. You can tell if they have it or you don't, and it doesn't like it obviously develops over time. But they usually, if you have it, it's like very present early on too. 'Cause I mean, like a lot of bands I listen to, and a lot of famous bands started when the members in like their 20s. They don't have a ton of time to develop a lot of skills, but like when you it feels like when you have that, you just have it. Like even if you just pick up a bass and write songs, I feel like I don't know, you can really tell when someone's got the writing gift, the music writing gift.
Well, I think it's interesting that you guys started and immediately. I mean, I'm sure you guys learned a lot of covers that inspired you at first, but to just run right into the radio and be like, I want to start making originals. You know, I think that takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there like that. And I know a lot of bands that are like grown adults that still don't want to write originals because they don't feel like they have it in them, you know? And a lot of people are just totally fine playing covers the rest of their lives and just doing shows like that. But, you know, to just go for it and be like, no, I have something to say. I think that's really cool.
Well, thank you.
Ask me to stay.
Ask me. I also like how Desperate Times is having something to say about having nothing to say, kind of. Because isn't it just
That-
a song about being bored?
That is the original meaning of the song, was about being bored.
Now, you say original meaning.
There have been slight changes in it. With the addition of Mitch and James, there's been slight instrumental changes and slight lyrical changes, which are changes that I'm happy about and I think are good changes.
You want to intro the song real quick? 'Cause we're going to go to a break, play some ads, then we're going to hear Desperate Times.
Sure.
What are we, Spotify Premium?
So if you want to
Not
do
yet.
like,
I want to say that?
I don't know if you just want to talk about it a little bit. Like, what should people expect to hear from Desperate Times?
Music.
All right.
right,
So we're going to
let's
go to a
do
break
it.
real
Let's
quick.
do it.
We got
Yep.
some music coming up.
And
There it
yeah,
is.
we'll be right back.
I'm sick of the same thing, it's all gotten boring. There's trouble on our heels and I'm not running. My room looks like a great place for a fire, but we're melted to the floor and we can't get any higher. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and we know that this time will last forever. So let's make this work. It wake up and get perfect. We'll take no Desperate times call for desperate measures, and we know that this time will last forever. So let's make this worth it. We're young and imperfect. We'll take the risk for you when you don't tease me.
And we're back. That was Desperate Times by Run From the Radio, who we're joined by.
Hello.
They're still here. They didn't leave.
Still here.
They probably
Yeah.
should have.
We had to wrestle them back into the room.
Yeah.
But
That was Desperate Times.
So do you guys have anything to say about Desperate Times now?
If you
Mitch,
thought
is there
of-
anything
Do you
would
like
say
it?
about Desperate Times?
I think it really would benefit the show, not only the show, but the entirety of the El Tri-C campus, nay, the entire world, if it were to be said that desperate times do indeed call for desperate measures.
I think that's true. Yeah.
If there is one lesson to take away
Right.
from it, you just need to know that we're young and imperfect, man.
And you know how a lot of musicians try to like leave their mark on the world and stuff? Well, I can say for sure that the three of us will never forget that song because
No.
we listened to it about 300 times so far.
No.
So you physically
1,000.
changed the landscape of our minds.
I am sorry.
No, I like it.
Well, no, it's interesting because, you know, when we, you know, and I'll just say when we shot a music video for you, we were like, whoever has to edit this is going to hate this song. But you don't hate this song, do you?
Yeah, well, I've managed to be present for all the pre-production, production, and now post-production. So I've heard the song the
You've
most,
heard literally as
hands
much as
down.
you could.
Yeah, I legitimately may have heard the song
More than
more
us.
than you guys at this point.
possible.
So
I've been hearing this in my head for years.
I hear voices in my head all the time. But yeah, I still can rock to the song, and I was definitely rocking to the song at the show.
Yeah, as you were singing it for us.
Yeah, you asked me to sing with
I
you.
appreciated that a lot.
And I did horrible. And
Not as bad as I would have, man.
I was like, oh, why don't I get called up on stage? And then 30 seconds in, I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't get called up on stage.
but yeah, no, I love it. The song is killer, and it just has such a, I don't know, dude. I really can't put my finger on what that quality is that has made me not get sick of it. It's just so listenable and it's so accessible, you know. And I don't know, dude. I just rock with it still. 1,500 times later.
I have been told I never listened to The Offspring, but my friend's dad, who lives in Texas, said that he listened to it once, and he was all like, "Yo, I really like this. It reminds me a lot of The Offspring." And
Right.
like I hear like a lot of stuff like what was his name from Send Request? It was another band that we played with from I believe Jersey, and he mentioned some like 1980s punk band who I had never heard of before, but it was like he was like, yeah, like,
Blink 182.
thanks for probably. He was like, thanks for like bringing like old school punk back, and I'm like, is that what we're doing?
Ooh, that's a pretty nice accolade.
It was paraphrased. I was trying to just capture
okay.
the gist of what
Now
he
you're
said.
just putting words in his
I
mouth.
definitely don't think we deserve that much credit, but it's definitely not a style I didn't at least anticipate.
You mean you didn't anticipate it being so punky?
Yeah, because that's usually like I personally like my background is like all in like rock and like butt rock. Actually just butt rock, nothing else. So like obviously I dig like the whole like distorted guitars, banging drums, stuff like that. But like as for vocals, like I was always more of just like the alternative type. Like I would always listen to like such emo legends as Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. You know, and then like they're like, "Yo, you want to sing in a punk band?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting because I've heard, you know, when we first started talking and you actually hit me up.
That's a very romantic time.
It was. We actually hit Lizzy up and then you hit me up because you guys knew each other.
That wasn't romantic.
from
Sorry,
way
Lizzy.
You know, you sent me a project of yours that you had done previously, which was 16 Metric Dank. And,
I'm still salty that you put that in the playlist for the party, by the way.
dude, why?
James came upstairs and he's like, "Mitch, you need to come up here." And I come upstairs and Not For Anyone's playing, and I'm just like, oh, That heckin' guy.
Yeah, no, I loved it though when you sent it to me, and it is totally different from what you're doing in Run from the Radio now. So I really think it's interesting the range that you have in that sense, and you're right that I do understand how you were probably kind of like, oh, a punk band, you know, because it is very different from just that. And that was 16 Metric Dank was the most recent project you had done, leading up to Run from the Radio, but
Not punk at all.
not punk at all.
No punk.
I do have a question. So was 16 Metric Dank, did you record in the studio with them?
We recorded with our good friend Bill Madej, bless his soul. He's still alive.
Okay, I was worried.
Yeah, I just feel like blessing him. He's been lying low for a little while, but yeah, we recorded with him. Pretty personally, honestly. It was just me, him, and other founding Dank, Derek Miller, and we just kind of recorded like most of the 13 songs in his house, and that was my first like studio experience.
Because me and Josh got to visit you guys while you were recording Desperate Times.
Yeah. Now we were recording with Matt Mulchaney at Shards.
Yep.
Also of Tape Swap fame and War fame. I'm just gonna plug as many of his projects as I can,
Feel
honestly.
free. He's a cool guy.
He's really cool,
He is.
and his co-creator Seamus is really cool, and Shard is awesome.
Just one Shard.
Just one shard. There's just one shard.
Dude, as soon as you walk into Shards, it's like, I don't know what's going on. Because first off, it's a garage and an alley, and then you walk in, and then there's a bunch of plywood.
Yeah.
And you go further than that, and there's like a steel girder holding up a music note, right?
Yeah. You enter like the little lobby area, and it looks like just like as you expect a garage to, and then you open the door, and it's a musician's paradise.
Yeah.
It's like DIY heaven. All of the magic comes out of Shards, and if any magic is to be processed before it is put out into the world, it has to go through Shards.
Right.
I definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend.
So can you talk about the process of like recording a studio track?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, can you also
On you,
talk?
Brady.
Because I think Shards is such a different location as well. I mean, what is it like? Because you kind of got the really the super DIY house, basement recording kind of experience, and then you went to Shards, and Shards I think is still very different from probably a lot of the other vibes and setups of other studios just around here. So how conducive was that atmosphere to the making of the Run from the Radio projects you guys are doing now, and then what is that process in general?
Well, what I can say at least is that when we were with Bill's studio, it was very much just a very guys being dudes type of vibe, because it was just the three of us. There was no like exchange of money. We were all just doing it because we wanted to do it. But we were recording basically through an analog mixer, so that was probably the biggest struggle. And like as a result, we weren't necessarily pushing for perfection or like for the greatest thing. We were kind of pushing for, I almost want to say good enough, which kind of ground my gears a little bit. So when we went to Shards, we made that transition with Run from the Radio. It was a big relief to me personally to have like digital mixing, digital recording, more than 16 tracks. Because like I've like in some of like the later stuff we've been recording, like I've been layering vocals like nobody's business, and on an analog mixer with 16 tracks, that would take up like half of the tracks. I guess a tip to anybody who wants to record vocals: don't do it. If you want a band, don't have a singer.
Just instrumentals only.
Honestly, but it's very liberating, I think. And just Matt, he's somebody who really knows what he's doing as well, and he's very in tune, I think, with the artists that he works with, so that helps.
Yeah, I was only there for like 3 hours, but he was dropping knowledge left and right.
Yeah,
I learned a bunch of random tricks that I'll probably never get to use, but I'm really glad I know them.
Maybe you will one day. Who knows?
That'd be cool.
Well, we're probably going to come out with in the studio with Run from the Radio, because we filmed that when you guys were there, when you and Josh went there, Pat, and we got a little into that process. So we'll probably be releasing a video on that.
And may I say, it was your best work since OK Computer.
Yeah, because I just...
All right, you had to explain that one.
You woke me up at 11 a.m. a few days ago, and...
Oh, what an unreasonable... How dare I?
And you were like, could you please make a quick 60-second promo for social media using the studio footage that Pat and Josh took when you guys were there? And I was like, sure. And that was such a funny line when you guys were
Oh, yeah.
recording, and Mitchell says that about the best album you've recorded since OK Computer.
Wasn't
I
it
just thought
because
it was so funny.
I think isn't the story is like
We
people were at a Radiohead concert and they were tuning their instruments.
Yeah,
and people were,
and people thought it was a song, and they said it was their best work since OK Computer. I don't even listen to Radiohead, but I do remember that.
like Mitchell got it, saw it on his phone, thought it was so funny. He walked around and showed everybody individually.
I feel like that could have been James too, though.
Was it?
Like maybe it was James who showed, and
That
then we
might
just
have-
Yeah,
happened to
Mitchell
have-
and James
might
look
have been.
really similar.
It's true.
For anyone
Honestly,
who-
James and I are interchangeable at this point. So,
just personality-wise.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, I don't know where we were going with that, but
The process of being in the
studio.
studio.
the process of being in the studio.
Brady, what do you think about
Yeah.
what do you think about the studio?
Brady, is there a studio? Does it even exist?
It does exist.
Sure.
I think Shards is the best place for Run from the Radio, as well, for the most part, we are not very professional in what we do. We like to just do things the best we can.
Which is a nice liberty to have while making music, is that you can be a little unprofessional and it doesn't
Yeah.
affect the outcome of the.
Because when it came time to finally record our songs, Matt from Shards is very good at what he does, and he's a huge help. Because just playing in a basement, which is what we did for so long, we would just do anything that we could to get it to work with sound balance and all of that stuff. But in the studio, it's a lot easier with someone who knows what they're doing to help us with that kind of stuff and to be able to do that.
Did we get any of that?
You kept getting quieter.
Wait, these mics aren't
Very
on.
sorry.
Brady, I think we have to really huddle up. Let's get like, nice and
But
like close
I
and
do have a
personal.
Have you guys written a song side by side yet? Because I know you had a bunch of stuff written, and then you brought in new people, and you've been recording that stuff that you had already.
Because
Have
Brady,
you guys written a song together yet?
As a matter of fact, we have done that.
We have.
We are a real band now. Well, because I know when I was brought on with James, they had about 4 songs written. But basically, Brady just said to me, "You can do whatever you want with the vocals. I don't care." So I was looking at like the words. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like put melodies to this and sing it, because I mean, did we really have melodies like defined before?
I didn't know what a melody was when I wrote most of the songs.
That's perfect.
that's good.
There's a lot of reimagining for Mitch with
But
the songs we had.
I had a great time with it. So I mean, I want to say that every song that we've written has been written as a band, but just at different intervals.
Okay.
You know, like it was completely like revamped, or not completely. I shouldn't give James and I that much credit, but it was changed fairly drastically when they brought us on, at least in terms of vocal and lead embellishments. But we have actually written some songs together as like a group as well. Like, do you think we should talk about why? I think talking about why would be kind of cool.
I think why would be a good one to talk about.
We've well, who came up with the
The original riff that we used was written by me. We had a full song. We played it once and never again.
as a 3-piece back when
Back when we were at 3-piece. But we had this riff that I liked a lot, and I said, "Hey, I don't know what to do with this riff, but maybe you do, Mitch." And I showed Mitch that riff, and him and James almost right away knew what to do with it.
Wow.
I definitely wouldn't say that, but let's okay, wait, actually I think this would be a pretty good story to tell. So we can describe the Run from the Radio songwriting session
The one in
that
the
we
basement.
had, yeah, when we were all at 13. Brady had just showed us the riff. James was like, I was like laying down ideas for like a verse. James like showed me like some chords for a chorus. We were changing keys a bit. So pretty much how this whole thing worked was just 4 dudes. I don't think Tyler was there for that.
Chris wasn't there. He was.
Oh, Chris wasn't there also?
He was overseas.
All right, so it was just the 3 of us.
What?
Yeah, Chris was in England.
Okay.
Being a
We were just in
silly
his
boy.
house.
Yeah. we kind of just.
We just stopped.
Wait, did
by.
he know that? Did you just break in?
I know how to pick the lock. It's fine.
Nice.
Sorry, Chris.
We
But
went there
so-
to play video games.
Yeah, so we went there. We were all just we were actually just sitting on his couches, trading off the Xbox controller. As we
There's no TV down there. for
no
anyone who
TV,
knows,
no
so
TV. But we just
you just have the controller.
we had the basically the way that the Run from the Radio songwriting session worked is one person or no 2 people work on the song at any given time, and the other person plays Fortnite. So we were just like handing like, I think that I got a lot of time like with Y, and like I got to know the song really well because I'm trash at Fortnite. So I would always
Wait,
die.
did anyone win during that session?
No.
No.
None of us know how to play. We just want to know how to play.
Yeah. But I mean, now that
Are
they
you talking about the music or Fortnite?
I think now that both actually. I think now they added an option to thank the bus driver, the meta's really changed.
That's a real game changer, yeah.
It is. But so we were all kind of like in and out, like working on the song. Like I think it kind of like worked as a way to prevent any one person from getting overwhelmed, honestly.
Yeah,
Definitely not that I would recommend playing Fortnite while trying to write a song.
Or just playing Fortnite to not get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That seems kind of
A little counterintuitive, but
It was good that we had the chance to switch off and each of us could take a break at certain times so that we would refresh ourselves and
for
get back to
Fortnite,
it with
for
better
Fortnite.
ideas.
Well, because I remember the chorus of the song, like I had like you had the riff, and then basically I took the verse and I was like, so what if like we have like a key change and we have like a guitar solo, and then James was like, yo, I have these chords for a chorus. So it's like we each kind of a section of the song is a baby to each of us.
Yes.
It was a good metaphor.
Did you guys come up? So did you guys kind of write that song almost all in like in one day?
I believe
much.
so. Yeah.
See, that's interesting because it sounds like you guys, by doing what you did in that very odd way of playing Fortnite periodically, is like you kind of sped up the process of, oh well, you know, maybe tomorrow morning I'll come and we'll work on it and with a fresh pair of ears, and you know, you kind of like sped that process up where you're freshening yourself up to new ideas and kind of expanding your mind and wiping the slate clean.
Possibly.
You know, because I know like in most things that tends to help where you'll come back the next day or you'll go home and think about it and like sleep and then you'll wake up with like an amazing idea or something. But you guys were kind of like doing that refresher
Yeah, eat, sleep, Fortnite, bro.
at the same all at once, and you wrote the whole song in like one day.
Well,
That sounds really familiar.
I think it also bears saying that it is only like a 2 minutes. It's one of our shortest songs, but it's also very like non-uniform in construction. So I think
it's very angry because we were playing Fortnite when we wrote it.
Right,
Yeah, we
that
were-
makes
The song
sense.
turned out awful.
We
because
were-
we were playing Fortnite
we were
when we wrote it.
heavily under the influence of anger, and it was just not a But I think that really helped with it, honestly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an interesting analysis, Chandler. Have you ever considered taking a psychology class?
I have taken psychology.
Again?
Maybe want to brush up on your psychology, please.
We're gonna go to a break real quick.
Yeah, we should probably.
We'll be right
Let's
back.
get out of here. Let's run.
Hey, we're back from our short break.
We're back.
Still have this,
and
we got him here again.
they-
Run
they
from the
didn't-
radio.
They didn't get away yet.
Have not run fast enough. You know,
We're chasing them with the entire setup right
Yeah.
now. Actually,
I've been
We're on
sitting
the
this
run.
entire time. There's been no running whatsoever.
You did stand up earlier for all the audio listeners.
I did.
Now, I think because of the nature of what this is our last show, as we said, and so I think it might be interesting to kind of delve into how is Run from the Radio going to break up? Just like we're kind of rolling around, how is Lab 212 going to
Do you
break
have anything
up?
planned?
Well, yeah, we've talked about
What's the
this a lot,
process?
actually.
Is that-
Were you gonna expand upon that?
That sounds like a pretty good plan.
I was like, I don't know if he's joking or if he's if he's being serious.
No, we've just talked about it a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's in the works.
Nothing
It's in,
conclusive
yeah, we're
yet.
planning it.
So we can
You
tease.
still got to get into shards. You know, get
Yeah.
everything ironed
Yeah,
out.
we gotta,
yeah.
well, we gotta
Add
finish
some
recording our
melodies,
album,
yeah.
and
Then we can break up.
then we'll be
Right,
fine
yeah,
to
that's
break up,
right.
yeah.
You have to be a thing before you can break up, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
And then you can release like singles for like a year of, and they have, you know, like after you record your breakup album and then you release like a bunch of singles after you break
And go
up.
on like 4 tours.
Yeah, and you go on like 4 tours, and then you come out with the Remember Me album where it's all your greatest hits.
I was gonna say we could just come back in 4 years and be a pop band.
That's
true.
a good point. It's actually kind of annoying that because we've been talking to you guys a lot. And we've been
It's
interacting.
actually annoying because we've been talking
I
about
feel
it.
I feel bad
No,
for you.
you guys are hanging out with Airspace a lot,
Uh-huh.
and you guys have songs out that we hear live and we can't go home and listen to.
I know.
It really sucks.
It's really
Like,
been hard
Today,
for everyone.
Airspace put out like a live recording of their one song they don't have in studio yet, and it's like really bad quality because it's filmed with like shotgun mics on DSLRs.
Did we
But I
film
still
it?
listen to it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. For all the audio listeners, that was a high five.
It was very crisp. I really hope it picked up.
It echoed very well, actually.
The acoustics are great in Lab 212.
Better than the acoustics that run from the radio. Am I right, Brady?
See, not nearly as crisp.
High five in front of the mic.
You know, that's something I legitimately wanted to ask because I made a joke about it earlier that when I sang "Desperate Times," I sang it very poorly with you. That's
That
because
wasn't a joke,
structurally
though.
the song is a lot different for the acoustic version, and so you guys have an entire acoustic set version of all your originals, so or at least most of them.
Actually,
I think all of them
I
are
think
in.
All of them?
everyone so far.
Okay, 'cause
the
you-
aforementioned Y is kind of
Yeah.
iffy.
Because the Coffee House Without Limits show that you played that Zach went to was an acoustic set as well. So not only
And
do you guys
Afterglow and Time Bomb sound really good acoustic. All right, this is what I have to do. All right, if you want me to be a part of this, this is what I'm going to have
Zach's
to do.
currently lounging on Chandler to
Yeah,
talk into the
yeah.
mic.
it's very intimate.
Conditions are not good at Lab 212, as they never,
like this.
They
Please
never
continue.
have been.
Ever since we stepped foot in the Lab 212, a year ago, 2 years ago,
We were actually
we just ruined
before
it.
the show went on. We were like, "What if like somebody walks in and they're being really loud?" Then we realized that was literally just us last year,
Yeah.
and most of the time the lab's pretty quiet.
We were the only ones who were disrupted in
Yeah.
this room ever.
This is how Lab 212 is going to be remembered.
because we don't want anybody walking in and like ruining the sounds.
Right.
But it was literally just us last year.
But we also sit here and ruin the show
Yeah.
ourselves, so there's nothing. There's like, doesn't matter.
We're making the same amount of noise we did last year, just into a mic this time.
It's actually worse. But so you guys made an entire acoustic set of all your originals too, which I don't see many bands put a lot of thought into. But it seems like you guys really crafted your music for acoustic.
I mean, it's-
very deliberately.
I'm guessing like
Because you
ba-
still
guys
also play with a 5-piece too.
Yeah.
So you've worked all of those factors.
like
in.
Run from the Radio growing up in Live at 13. I'm guessing the live part was very ingrained in you guys because it seems like you have everything pretty ironed out, even though you like don't have a lot of stuff recorded. It all seems pretty good. You have stuff exclusively for live shows that like works really well.
I'm really glad we can fake it so earnestly.
But what is that like going? What is the approach to acoustifying one of your tracks that you made?
Yeah, because I would actually like to hear Brady. I now have questions for you as well. 'Cause this is my show,
Brady
but-
still uses his bass though, right?
Yeah,
he does.
well-
he's the only one who keeps his
Yeah,
instrument.
I don't do anything different. So
Well,
But, like-
there isn't an acoustic bass, is there?
there is.
you
I
wrote-
just don't have one.
You wrote a lot of these songs. Like,
Yeah.
did you envision them working for both? Is kind of what I want to know. Because I mean, I just came on and was just like, yeah, we can try this, whatever. But this is the mastermind that we are talking to right
For the
now.
acoustics.
Yeah.
I did.
For everything. Oh no.
Oh, just everything.
Yeah. For
Wait, I
everything
didn't
in
realize how
general.
large your brain was.
He's a very big brain, Brady.
Very
Big brain Brady, they call him.
Well, a lot of my writing process was writing a bass line first, and once I found a bass line I enjoyed, I would try to write lyrics to fit over the bass line.
So
And-
since you don't change anything, it's really easy for you to make stuff acoustic.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Well,
you create the only two things that don't really change.
yeah. So the lyrics, I would play acoustic guitar to write them over, and that would
Oh.
help me in a way, I guess, to understand a more full sound of what I was trying to get.
So then you just kind of deconstruct it backwards, like you made it to do the acoustic version almost.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess from there it was more just doing the same thing, just on electric instruments with distortion.
Do you ever get sick of the same thing though?
It does all get boring, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think. Did you have anything else for that? Because I know
sorry.
like I can say things, but I don't want to interrupt.
I can say
my
things.
boy's time. You know.
I don't know if there's anything else I need to add to
It
that.
sounds like he doesn't even know.
I really don't. I don't put a lot of thought into what I do. I just do
Brady's
it.
very bewildered.
That's why he's
he has that
Everything
mu-
he's doing.
He has
Brady
that
the
much
Bewildered.
musical inspiration inside him. Is it just like
It just confuses.
it just
him.
yeah?
There's
it just
no room
confuses
for
everyone.
planning with
Yeah.
all this music. I mean, I can say, from my perspective, you guys didn't do the acoustic set when you were a 3-piece before, did you?
We tried. We didn't though.
Okay.
Never got out of the basement with the acoustic set.
I gotcha.
That's the cutting room floor is the basement. The basement floor.
Because I remember starting off in like the local like music scene, if you will. I did a lot of acoustic stuff out of necessity, because I didn't have like a band that was like willing to like get behind like really weird productions of like prog pop songs. And but I would always do acoustic, so I kind of, from the process of acoustifying like songs that I like to play and kind of stripping them down, I guess I just kind of took that and was like, run from the radio, we can do it too. What? What's going on here?
That makes sense. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Chandler wasn't listening at all.
Yeah,
I was reading the monitor.
the monitor's about a foot away from Chandler. It looked like he was peering across the
That's
the
what I
world.
saw.
I
That's
also
yeah.
thought was happening.
Well, it's like sideways.
It looks like you need a
so-
telescope or
Well,
something.
I do.
So I guess the process of transitioning was just really about reimagining them as less, if the punk is the aggressive side, the acoustic is the more palatable side. So it was kind of
Wow.
like taking the most palatable options from each song. Like Afterglow, like obviously completely removed all traces of screaming or punk vocals, and just kind of did what I do best, which is falsetto and pretend to be a woman.
Nice. I do love that
Put your
about
best out, yes.
like some punk music where it's like, this is abrasive and I love it because of it. Like, this isn't meant to be really pleasing to my ears. It's a lot of loud noises that go well together, but it's like at no point were they like, this sounds so lovely.
How do you think you can describe, because Run From the Radio, I think, is pretty agreed upon that it's punk. I mean, that's what iTunes says, too.
That's true.
iTunes never lies, unless you try to search for our artist page. It just doesn't show up then. So don't look that up.
How do you think you can describe the punk sound to anyone who might not understand it? Because I've encountered a lot of people, especially recently, who listen to punk music and they hate it and they don't understand why it is the way it is. So is there a way that you kind of explain it to people that aren't as familiar with its background or kind of what it's supposed to mean or do?
This one's, like I said, man, this isn't my particular forte, so if you have anything to add, you just feel it, bro.
Yeah, in my opinion, punk music is, the way I've always seen it, is a way of sending a message, whether it be political or about emotions, possibly, or just anything. Like, our song Desperate Times is about being bored. It's just straight up to the point,
Yeah.
we're bored, and we're sick of it. And I guess we, originally, in writing, I never stuck to a genre. I never picked out a specific genre to write in. It was just whatever I did and whatever I liked, and anyone can call it whatever they want. So we don't have as much of the political, like, speaking out aspect as some older punk and like a lot of what the original idea of it was.
Give it some time, though.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Because like the Sex Pistols were like, that was so heavy in their music and what they did, and they pretty much started
Yeah.
punk, and it was very politically charged and
Yeah.
everything like that.
I
but-
think we're less on the heavy and more about the aggression and, like, the energy. Or not even
Yeah. We
We
necessarily
like to
that.
attack our audience.
We do. Yeah.
Personally, each and every one of them.
And so, why do you think that in that writing process? Because I mean, you said you don't write and you don't approach the making the music with any set predisposition of how you want that to come out. Be like, it has to be a punk song. So why do you think it came out that way, and why do you think it still kind of materializes that way?
Well, I think just with what we have guitars with distortion and electric instruments, and I went back when I was the vocalist. I'm not a trained singer. I barely ever sang before.
How did you? Was that just like a singer by necessity?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I wanted to do it. I just never personally thought I was the best singer. I would do it because we had no one else.
That is the only reason you should have a singer, by the way, is if it's an absolute necessity.
Getting back to the don't have a singer in your band.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So I, like we talked about before, I would avoid melodies and actual singing and substitute it for a little bit more like raspy yelling and some sorts of screaming.
Which can still
Which-
get the job done.
Yeah, it wasn't not quite like heavy metal or anything, just yelling angrily, I guess, is what I was good at.
Which is cool. I love that music can capture that so well. 'Cause I don't think anything else can really capture emotions as well as music can, and like make
Yeah.
the audience feel exactly what the person who's making it feels.
Bored.
And even at the show that you got, like at our soiree that we had that you guys played at, I think it came up at one point. I think it was after Crazy Eights and Key Mantis's set about screaming the right way. And you said you're not a trained vocalist. Did you have to learn how to scream properly as to not hurt yourself constantly? Is that something you had to kind of develop even?
It's something I should have done. It's not something I have done.
Okay, we gotta go to a break real quick. I'm sorry to disrupt this beautiful conversation.
No, please, by all means.
But yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back with Run from the Radio,
On the radio.
Coffee Guy, Sly Elliott, and everything.
So we were just talking about screaming properly. Brady said he doesn't. And
That's
Mitchell might have some insight into how to scream, though.
I mean, I didn't say that, but I do it a little more often, so I can at least try to describe the process. Yeah, I mean, anybody will tell you that it's like it comes from your diaphragm, as all vocals techniques do. Pretty much, I think the only prerequisite for that needs to be met in order for screaming to be considered proper is that it has to not be destroying your vocal cords. If it hurts like a lot for like a long period of time, that's not right.
That's bad. Because I'm guessing any amount of screaming kind of hurts like the day after.
Not as much as you would think.
Really?
Yeah.
that's where the screering properly comes in.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It's something that I've always wanted to do for a while, but I had never screamed. Never in my life. Even when I was a baby,
What?
no
Wait,
screaming.
Your vocal cords with like a hardcore cutoff at a certain decibel.
Yeah, it hard cuts. But I never actually looked into it until it was kind of a necessity for Run From the Radio, because I heard these songs and I was like, this needs to be here to like really capture the energy of it. So it's pretty much just been exercises here and there, and that's really what vocals have become for me now that I've been like taking it more seriously with these wonderful punky boys that I find myself spending most of my time with. Vocals in general are more about the physical contraction of your vocal cords and like what you feel and what you know your cords are doing. And I think most people like who don't sing don't realize that. And I think that's the first big step to like sing or scream, is to realize that it's a physical change in your throat and you can kind of feel it and you can control it. And it's a muscle that you can strengthen just like any other one. I really hope that this information is correct also.
It is interesting that...
Because, yeah, I just want to make sure if there are any vocalists, like, feel free to hit me up. I would love to take lessons. But it's just a lot of making sure your throat is properly shaped to produce the kind of sound that you want, and that your all of your power is coming from your internal breathing organs, as opposed to from your throat where you will tear yourself apart.
Yeah.
Because like when people say that person's got a great voice, it's not actually, most of the time, like they might be born with a good voice, but really you have to mold it. It's not like someone just born being able to sing all the like crazy ways.
Yeah.
You actually, there's a lot of practice.
I mean, my parents, like those poor, supportive, hopeless people that they are, they always say, you have a great voice, why don't you sing? And I never thought so. But like just like recently, I've kind of been like, a great voice is like a natural like timbre or like tone to your voice, but like a great singer is somebody who can mold their voice and kind of get it to do what they want. And I think that's the big difference, and I think that is like the important thing to take away from it. Maybe you'll hear back from me in like 5 years when I have to get surgery that all these screamers have to get. I don't know.
That'd be sweet.
That would
Real
be.
thing that keeps happening.
It does. I know so many, like M Shadows did it. Close to Home is a smaller band, but I know their vocalist just recently went through it.
Can you like scream after that, or are you like destroyed?
M Shadows still screams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he doesn't do it as often because, you know, I think he's just kind of like, all right, I'm a little wary of this now.
I actually watched a piece on a vocal coach that their thing is that they went to all of those kinds of bands that do a lot of that screaming and taught the lead singers how to scream properly to avoid, because that like kept happening.
It is a
to
big
lot
issue.
A lot of singers, yeah.
And that's something I've always been very conscious of, because it's just, as long as I can get like all of my power from down like in my chest cavity, like I don't feel like I'm hurting my voice. Like, I mean, I'll be exhausted because it's a lot of work, but not from the throat.
That is weird, because it's like really conducive to the types of music that do use screaming to not care how much it would affect you.
Yeah.
because like it's like all the music's like intentionally abrasive and it's like rock and roll. Who cares what's like?
But there's actually, I think there's a lot of technique to it that most people don't appreciate.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
That's why I think it's really cool. And I mean, I'm in no sense like an authority on it. I wouldn't even say I'm particularly good at it, but like, it's something that I've really started to like more because of Run From the Radio. You know, Run From the Radio saved my life. That's what I'm getting to.
We rescued Mitch off the streets.
He was just screaming at
He was just
birds.
screaming
It was
at
weird.
anything he could find.
But I wasn't properly screaming.
It was he could have really damaged his
Brady
voice
walked
had we not
over
run
and
him
put like your
singing.
jacket around him. Was like, you don't have to scream that way anymore. You're safe now.
You're safe. You can scream instead of me.
Please scream instead of me.
So
I'm just doing him favors, I guess.
unfortunately, this does mark the last time that Chandler will be on the podcast in person.
Yep.
For the next 4 months.
Yep. Thankfully.
It always sneaks
had
up. It
enough.
always really sneaks up on you how soon this was, because we've known
Yeah.
about this happening for a while,
Yeah.
and then the last like week, it's been like, oh, it's actually happening.
No, I've been thinking about it nonstop.
Yeah. Well, that's because Zach's scared. Because
Uh-huh.
Zach's gonna take a little more of the driver's wheel while I'm gone for like Lab 212 related stuff. But anything I can do remotely, I'm still gonna be doing and going hard, and probably doing a lot more post production stuff because that's easier for me to do.
It's not in person.
Yeah, because I don't have to be there for that. So I'm probably gonna be doing a lot more music videos and stuff like that, I would imagine, which I'm currently working on Desperate Times right now, and I probably have a lot more of that to look forward to. So
And thanks for being like such a great sport about like all that too. When I know you mentioned earlier, like when I hit you up at one like Friday or Saturday morning, and I was just like, yo, I know this single's been out for like 11 hours, but can you make a quick production video for it so we can like promote that on Instagram and all that? And like, yeah, you just
I love working under the gun like that a lot. Honestly, it's like it's kind of stressful, but it's fun. It's kind of my element.
That is
I tend to put myself
that is a
in.
blessing because nobody in music knows how to coordinate. So that's kind of all we can give you.
We've been doing this for just a little bit, and I think we've found that out. But we don't like coordinating that much either. So it works. It's fine. It's just one big mess
I don't think anybody
of
coordinates.
scheduling. Yeah. We're also like 20. So like what? Who? Come on, dude. Like you can't.
Young and imperfect.
All right. I think that's where we have to end it.
So yeah. Anybody that has anything to plug, I think now would be the time, or forever hold your peace.
Sly Elliott on everything.
Check me out, Sly Elliott, on everything.
Where can we find you?
I'm Brady DePippa from Run From the Radio.
I don't think I've ever heard your last name before.
I'm sorry. You can find us online. Run From the Radio has a Twitter, a Facebook, and Instagram where we constantly post updates
And memes.
and memes.
And those are just
There's a
called
lot of
Run From the
memes.
Radio.
Yes, Run
Okay.
From the Radio.
At Run From the Radio, and you'll find all manner of things you never wanted to see.
Including a video I was just in.
Probably not all manner, but some manner.
And
Yeah, he was in the video.
Desperate
At
Times
Sly
out.
Elliott.
Desperate Times is out on all music platforms. At least all the ones we could find.
I actually did hear from somebody, a loyal, I don't remember their or I don't even think I know who they are, but a truly loyal person who watched the promo video that you made the other week said that it's not on Google Play.
Good.
That's
so
weird.
yeah, so everywhere but Google Play, check out Desperate
We're
Times.
gonna have to look at that.
And soon to be Google Play, hopefully.
Soon to be Google
Days
Play.
Once we figure that out.
Came on late. We got an email about it.
Gotcha.
Just kidding. Now on Google Play, we're that quick.
Google Play sent us an email like after the song came out, and they're like, dude, it's not on Google Play. We're like, that we could have used that information.
Yo, dudes,
We're like-
where's Desperate Times? Where's
But,
that hot garbage?
I actually just got the text on my plane's here, so I do have to go. It's right outside.
Bye,
waiting for
Chandler.
me.
Please
So,
don't come back.
I'll see you guys in
See
4
ya.
months.
See ya.
Safe-
Bye,
safe
Chandler.
travels.
Bye. Sly Elliott and everything. Shout out to some dude shouted us out on. All right, she's okay. Now that Emrys is gone. Shout out to a flabby fella who likes us on Instagram or something.
Shout out to Mitchell's wonderful airplane noise. That was really nice. I like that. That was good.
Chandler doesn't know that his airplane isn't outside.
Yeah.
I was just
Pranked
faking
him.
it.
No, it was that good.
All right, we're actually. I think we actually
we're
have to end
done.
it now.
Yeah.
All right, check out Lab 212 and everything.
Yeah. And here's Desperate Times one more
Am I
time.
doing that?
Yeah. Sure.
Bye, we
I
love
didn't
you.
have that pulled
I
up.
mean,
All
we're
right,
punks
do
and we're
have it
angry.
pulled
Grr.
All right. Okay. Yep. Desperate Times one more time. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
gotten boring.